डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar dear students, I am Dr. Himanshu Patel and I am working as an assistant professor in School of Computer Science of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University Ahmedabad, and I am your instructor for these modules. In today's session, we will learn about content provider. So what is content provider? What are the uses of content provider? Then Android provides some native content provider to query or provide common data. So we will discuss about Android native content provider. We will learn about content URI, which is used to query content provider. Then we will learn how to actually get data using content provider, and we will take one demonstration for the same. Learning objective of these module is, after studying these module, learner should be able to define content provider, list Android native content providers, access the content provider, understand the parts of content URI, list methods of content provider, and learner can use contact provider. So let us start with what is content provider is. Basically, in Android, any app can access its own data, but what if multiple applications want to share their data between each other? So in that case, we require content provider. So content provider store and retrieve data and make it accessible to all applications. That means with the help of content provider, we can access data from multiple applications and share among them. They are the only way to share data across application, because application can have access to its own data, but other application cannot access those data. So for that, we require content provider. Since there is no common storage area that all Android package can access, Android ships with number of content providers for common data type, like media that is stored on your phone, context stored on your phone, call logs, browser, etc. All Android native content providers are available in android.provider package. So when you write down import android.provider and then dot, you will be able to see the list of all native content provider. Native means it is there in Android for sharing data among applications, right? You can also create your own content provider, that we will discuss later on. So what is the use of content provider? We will try to understand use of content provider with the help of this figure. A content provider coordinates access to the data storage layer in your application for number of different APIs and components. So central part is content provider and it has access to data storage, that you can see below content provider. So this is content provider. Content provider can store and retrieve data from data storage and sharing access to your application data with other applications. So you can see content provider can also interact with applications for sharing these data. You can also send data to widgets, that you can see here. Returning custom search suggestions for your application through the search framework. So you can use this data for search framework also. And you can synchronize application data with your server using abstract thread sync adapter that you can see on the screen. And we can also load data in user interface using cursor loader with the help of content provider. So, these are the common use of content provider. Now, let us discuss Android native content provider. The first Android native content provider is browser. It is used to read or modify bookmarks, browser history or web searches. Now, why we require these content provider? So, based on user browsing history, bookmarks and related web searches, we can identify the interest area of user. So, for that you require all these things, and based on these data you can provide custom suggestions to user for various types of information that is available on internet. So, for that we can use browser. Then there is a call log which is used to view or update the call history. Then there is a contacts. So, contacts are very sensitive and important information. So, with the help of contacts you can retrieve, modify or store the personal contacts, and there are 3-tier model for contract object. The first is contact contract.data, which contains all kind of personal data. Then we have table called contact contract.row contact, which contains set of data objects associated with single account or person, and we have third table called contacts contract.contacts, which contains an aggregate of one or more row contacts, presumably describing the same person. So, we can use this table to get and modify the list of contacts. Then there is a media store content provider, which allows you to access audio, video and images stored on your phone or SD card. And we have settings content provider, which can be used to view and retrieve Bluetooth settings, ringtones and other device preferences. So, these are the all native content provider which can be used to access different kind of information. Now, we have already learned persistent data in previous lecture. We specify the name of database in case of persistent data, right. So, here to access content provider, we have to specify fixed string called content URI. URI means Uniform Resource Identifier. So, with the help of content URI, we can query a content provider. You specify the query string in the form of URI, which has format content : 2 slashes, then authority, then path and then ID. Now, let us try to understand what is authority, what is path and what is ID. So, the content always starts with string content : /. It is always there and it identifies these as a content URI. Anything which starts with content : 2 slashes refers to content URI. Then comes authority. Now, what is authority? Authority specifies the name of content provider. In previous slide, we have discussed the name of all native content providers. So, they can be considered as a authority name. For example, contacts, browser, media, etc. Then comes path. So, 0 or more segment separated by / that identifies some subset of the provider's data. Now, we know that database is stored inside data directory, inside that there is a data directory, inside that there is a package name and inside that there is a database folder, and then comes actual database file. So likewise, in case of content provider, we can specify path, and each row in all these content provider table uniquely identifies particular record with the help of ID. So ID is a numeric identifier for single row in the subset of data identified by preceding path part. Let us clear this with some examples. When you call a client method to access table in provider, like SQLite database, content provider also stores information in form of tables. So when you call client method to access table in provider, the content URI for the table is one of the argument. A content URI pattern matches content URIs using wildcard characters. For example, if there is a star in content URI, it means match a string of any valid characters of any length. And if there is a hash sign or pound sign, it means match a string of numeric characters of any length. So we can also use these kind of patterns in content URI. As an example of designing and coding content URI handling, consider a provider with the authority in.edu.baou.provider that recognizes the following content URIs pointing to table. Assume that our authority or provider is in.edu.baou.provider, and inside that there is a different information stored in form of tables. So how to access those information? Suppose I write down content colon 2 slashes and then our authority name is in.edu.baou.provider, and if I write down slash table 1, it means I want to refers to table 1 of content provider. It refers to table called table 1. Similarly, if there is a table 2 and inside that there is a data set 1, so it means a table called data set 1, and inside our content provider there should be some folder called table 2. Similarly, if I write down data set 2 after table 2, it means a table called data set 2. Now you can understand what is the meaning of this statement. The meaning of statement is we want to refers to table 3. So this is how you can, if you are using your own content provider, then you can have content URI similar to this. Now let us try to understand content URI for Android native content provider. There are some content URI constant are also there, which you can use to refers to particular native content provider. So Android defines content URI constant for all the providers that come with the platform. For example, contacts contract.common.data.kinds.font.content URI refers to contact, and browser.bookmarks_URI refers to bookmark. Similarly, mediastore.video.media.external content URI refers to all media stored on your external storage device or SD card. Likewise, contacts contract.contacts.content URI refers to again contact information. These are various kind of constant that you can also use to access native content providers. Let us try to understand instance identifier. So there can be an instant identifier that refers to specific data instance. Basically it is content URI. So can you guess what is the meaning of these content URI? Content :/ media internal and images. So now you understand that it returns the list of all internal images on the device. Similarly, what does this content URI or instance identifier meaning? It means return the list of all the images on external storage or SD card on the device. Now, what does it mean? You can easily explain. It returns a list of all the calls registered in call log. And what does this mean? It returns a list of bookmark stored in the browser. So, you can either use constant, which refers to particular content provider, or you can have instance identifier or content URI that you can write yourself. And last line, which specifies content : / contacts, people and 45. What does it mean? The last 45 refers to ID. So, it returns a single result row, the contact with ID is equal to 45. So, this is how either you can use constant to refers to particular content provider, or you can write down these instance identifier or content URI. Let us try to understand advantages of content provider. Content provider offer granular control over the permission for accessing data. If your app is content provider, then it can provide access to other app also. You can choose to restrict access to a content provider from solely within your application, grant permission to access data from other application, or configure different permission for reading and writing data. You can use content provider to abstract away the details for accessing different data sources in your application. For example, your application might store structured record in SQLite database as well as video and audio file, and you can make it available to other app also. Let us try to understand how to access content provider, whether it is your own content provider or it is some native Android content provider. All data is stored in data storage and content provider can access this data. Now, content resolver method provide basic CRUD operation of storage. CRUD means create, retrieve, update and delete. So, this content resolver will provide facility to read, write, update or delete data using content provider, and to access content provider from your user interface, easiest way is to use cursor loader to run an asynchronous query in the background. Suppose you want to retrieve data from data storage using content provider, what you can do is you can store get result using cursor loader. Now, this is asynchronous query run in background, that means it improves the performance. The activity or fragment is used as user interface that calls cursor loader to the query. This gets the content provider using the content resolver. So, the result of content resolver is stored in a cursor loader and it can be displayed in activity or fragment user interface. So, this is how we can access content provider, whether it is a native or created by you. If you want to access data using content provider, you have to use content resolver object in your application's context to communicate with the provider as a client. The content resolver object communicate with the provider object that we have seen in previous slide. Now, these object retrieves data request from the client, performs the requested action and returns the result. So, we have three objects: content provider, content resolver and cursor loader. Let us understand how to query native content provider. Similar way, you can also query your own content provider. So, we will write down one demonstration to retrieve all the context stored on your phone. So, for that you require read contact permission. So, what we will do is, when our app starts, we will immediately request that at runtime. So, you can see on the screen, it asks allow display contact to access your contact. If user grant the permission, then we can display those contexts, and if it denies, we cannot. On second screen, for example, if user grants permission, then we display in toast permission granted. Now your application can access contacts. So, for that we have written one button called display contacts, and when user clicks on this display contacts, I want to display name of contact and its mobile number or phone number. So, when user clicks on display contacts, we will display these on screen in a list view, name and mobile number, right. So, this is application we write down inside Android Studio to fetch all the contacts that is stored on our mobile. Now, to query native content provider, what you require is, first you must know the content URI. That means how to access particular content provider, that we have already discussed. So, our URI or content URI is context.contract.common-data-kinds.phone.content URI. So, we will use this constant to refers to context stored on our device. The second thing you require is name of data fields. In SQLite database, data is stored in table. Similarly, content provider also stored its information in form of table, right. So, you should know the name of those columns or fields. So, here we want to fetch two information. First is name of contact and second phone number. So, the name of columns that is stored in contact table is context contract.common-data-kinds.phone.display_name. So, this constant refers to column name and context contract.common-data-kinds.phone.number refers to column that stores phone number. So, you should know the content URI, then name of all the field that you want to retrieve from content provider and data type of those fields, because we have earlier seen that if I want to retrieve integer data, I will use get integer method. If I want to retrieve text data, I should use get string method. So, you must know the name of columns or field, and you should also know data type of those fields, and also require permission to access data. For that, remember to modify the manifest file for permission. So, in this case, permission is read context. So, you should write down this line inside your manifest file, which mentions that I want to use read contact permission. Now, how to actually query data? The code is very similar to retrieving data from SQLite database. So, if you follow mouse pointer, you will see here we use get content resolver and its query method. in case of open or create database, the first argument is always name of database. So here we can understand through analogy that this name refers to our content URI that we have already discussed. So here we write down content URI. The second argument is projection, means which columns we want to retrieve. If it is null, it will retrieve all the columns from content provider table. If I want to filter or give some selection criteria, then I can provide this selection. If there is a selection, we have to provide selection arguments, and we can also specify order of particular field in which I want to retrieve the data. This query is used to retrieve all the records one by one until end of table. So cursor.move next gives true until it reaches the end of table. So when this method returns false, it means we have traversed all the records one by one. Here inside name, which is of string type, I want to get string. Now remember, in case of database, we specify the index of field. So here I write down get column index, but that table is created by us, so we know the index. But if you don't remember index of particular field, then you can refer to its name using some constant like this. So this constant refers to column name, and we want to retrieve index of that column using get column index, and at that particular index whatever value is there we want to fetch inside name. So in case of database, we simply write down 0, 1, 2 because we know where actually fields are stored, but here we don't know the order exactly. So for that we have to write down this get column index and column name that we want to refer. Similarly, inside phone I write down cursor.getString and we specify the index of column using get column index, and name of column is context contract.com datakinds.phone.number, and we store that name and phone number inside one list, that is store context. So it is array list that stores name and phone, and finally we close the cursor and we can display this store context array list inside some user interface such as list view. So this is how we can query inbuilt content provider. Suppose you want to create your own content provider, then you have to follow certain steps. So first step is to create content provider class which extends content provider base class. So you have to create one class which extends this class. Then you have to define your URI, content URI address, which will be used to access the content by other application. Then you have to create your own database to keep the content, and usually Android use SQLite database and framework needs to override onCreate method, which will use SQLite open helper method to create or open the provider's database. And when your application is launched, the onCreate handler of each of its content provider is called on the main application thread. That means you have to create database and all tables using SQLite open helper class methods. Then you have to implement content provider queries to perform different database specific operation such as insert, update, delete and query. And then you have to register your content provider in your activity file using provider tag. So these are the steps that you can perform to create your own content provider to provide data to other applications. Now, what are the methods of content provider? So, we have to implement query method which retrieve data from your provider. We have to implement insert method which inserts row in your provider. We have to implement update method to update existing row in your provider, and we have to implement delete method to delete rows from your provider, and we can also implement get type to returns the MIME type corresponding to a content URI. And inside on create, we have to initialize our provider, and the system calls this method immediately after it creates your provider. So, this is how we can also create our own content provider. So, friends, let us sum up. In this module, we have learned about content provider, Android native content providers. We have learned how to query the content provider, and we have understand parts of content URI, that is authority, path and ID. And we have also discussed methods of content provider and steps to create and use our own content provider. So, friends, I hope you enjoy this session. Thank you and happy learning.
स्वाध्यायः परः